It was 2008, and it was the last day of school, June 21st, and I had several weeks prior developed some bruising on my body, and my husband said, "You better go to the doctor because that doesn't look right." I went to the doctor, and I ended up having a fever and bronchitis, and she drew my blood and sent me home. The next day, the doctor on call called me and said, "You need to come to the emergency room right now. You're very, very, very ill." The oncologist had told them that I had leukemia, and I didn't believe them. I thought, I must have Lyme's or something other than that because that's impossible. But I did have it. Once I went to the emergency room, I basically didn't go home for 2 months, and so my kids were 6, 9, and 11 at the time. So that was that was probably the hardest thing, is to be away from my kids for that long. I'll never forget kind of a dream I had, and it was me kind of leaning on Jesus, like holding on to his robe. He was sitting, and I could see God the Father light, kind of, not God the Father, but the light from him, and I knew that I would never be alone. I know that Jesus was praying for me, intercessory kind of prayer, to the Father, because I just couldn't anymore. And so I think that's what I felt. I felt the connection of seeing Jesus and then knowing that the Spirit could carry me. Before I went in for my bone marrow transplant, I didn't know if I was going to come back or not, because it was a very high percentage that I wouldn't. So I had to write letters to my kids and give them kind of albums to say, I'm praying for you, and, remember this. And so I had a 1 match out of 14 million people. So that was a miracle, I think. I think my faith is more clear to me, and that I have remembered God's promises more than, through my whole life, and to live out my faith more, because there's not a lot of time on this earth, unfortunately. And I think you have to make the most out of every day.